So, Attorney Rodriguez is a lawyer belonging to Class 2002, Faculty of Civil Law of the University of Santo Tomas. Everybody, I'd like to welcome here on stage Attorney Victor D. Rodriguez.
Thank you. Please be seated. Good morning. I'm very excited. Was looking forward to this event, and I'm very emotional because as they say, you will know who your true friends are. When you are down, or when people are trying to put you down. I may be down momentarily, but I'm very much around. I never entertain any illusion that those people that I have met when I was still in Malacanang as executive secretary, showing, giving me their nicest, their prettiest smiles, are my newfound friends. Not because I do not welcome friends, but simply because it's clear to me, dumadaan lang ako sa posisyon na ito, and I have maintained my friends. My friends then are still my friends now. And I am emotional because I see all of you. You're here because I have regarded you as my friends then and still my friends now. Kaya ako ay masaya at kasama ko kayo ngayong umaga. In coming up and coming out with this book, I have no illusion that I want to be controversial. Ayoko nung ako yung nasa gitna, nasa akin yung spotlight, ako pinag-uusapan. Ayaw ko yan. Balit, maraming twists and turns ang ating buhay at napadpad tayo sa ganitong pagkakataon. Wala akong regret. I have been called so many names. I have been ridiculed, humiliated. I kept quiet. And I tell you, it's not easy. I and my family absolutely, we felt the pain. We suffered silently. The easiest way for a man like me, who wants to defend his family from all the unfair allegations, narratives, and what have you, is instinctively, immediately reply and refute that interview, but not me. I suffered, yes, in silence. People are trying to isolate me. Okay lang yan. Because even then, when I was still in Malacanang, I am already decided. I will not grant any interview. Yung mga nanira sa akin, tuwang-tuwa nung ako'y nananahimik, feeling nila ako'y nalusaw na. Hindi nila ako kilala. Noon pa man, ako ay disiplina. Instead na sagutin kita o kayo sa isang interview, whether sa traditional media o sa pamamagitan ng ating mga kasamang kaibigan dito, na new media, una ang aking desisyon. Ililibro ko at lalagyan ng dokumento yung aking sagot sa inyo upang aking harapin sa tamang panahon ang mga ibinintang ninyo na ako ay kapit-tuko, ako ay power hungry, ako ay nagbebenta ng posisyon, yung appointment for sale, at ako ay inalis o nag-is out sa Malacanang. Yan lahat ay nasa libro. Ang daming sinabi tungkol sa akin. And I just have to refute it my way. I will not let anyone define me. Alam ko ang ginawa ko nung ako ay nasa Malacanang. Alam ko ang totoo. And that's why I'm very, very confident. Panatan niyo na ako ng panatan. Laway lang ang inyong puhunan. Nasa akin ang katotohanan. At darating yung tamang panahon, ilalahat ko yan. And I have to do this, not for me. Kaya ko ang kritisismo. Kaya ko yan. But if I will not correct the many lies that you have peddled against me and my family, the generation to come after me will be doomed. The generation that will come after me will suffer damnation. And I will not allow anyone to do that to my children. I owe it to my family. I owe it to my wife. I owe it to my beautiful children. I have to defend. Have to bring out the truth so people would know what really happened and to straighten out the many lies they have peddled. Hindi madaling magtindi. It took a lot for me to practice this discipline, to keep quiet, to pretend as if you're not affected. It takes a lot from a man to practice this kind of restraint. But I have to, because first, hindi ko pwedeng sagutin yung alam ko namang mga bayaran, binayarang vloggers, binayarang media men, binayarang broadcasters. Hindi ko sila pwedeng sagutin because I respect the office that I represent, the office of the Executive Secretary. I do not want to be confronted by anybody who occupied that position before me and those who will occupy that position after me. Bakit mo ibinaba sa ganyang level ang office of the Executive Secretary? I owe it to the institution. I owe it to the office. I owe it to those who occupied the office before me. And those others will come after me. Kaya hindi ako sumagot at kaya ako ay nagtindi. And finally, here we are launching the book. I hope you'll find it a good read. And I really appreciate all of you. Tama si Winnie, kung na kayo ay nandito because I regard you as my lifelong friends. And I appreciate you. Mahal ko kayong lahat. And hindi mabubuo itong librong ito without my lead, but Huwag kayo magkakamali. A very mean team. You've met the author, my friend, Jerry Lirio. Bakit si Jerry Lirio? Sabi ko sa inyo wala akong ilusyon na yung mga nakilala ko, nung ako ay nangangampanya at nung ako ay nagsisilbi, kaibigan ko na. No? Yun din ang pagkatao ko. I value old friends. I value real friendship. Jerry and I met long time ago, 2005, 2006. We made the story of the case that I am handling. We wrote it, sent it out, banner story ng Philippine Daily Inquirer. Rumolo yan, parte rin ng ito. And of course, while forming the team, I have to rely. Ang number one criteria ko nung bumubuo ng team, yung mapapagkatiwalaan. And here comes, she's my friend, but in truth, ang best friend niya talaga ay ang ating asawa, si Miss Winnie Nieva Pantangco. Thank you for joining me in the team. Of course, nandyan ang aking kasama. Nagkasama kami dito ng campaign at siya ay naging undersecretary ng Communications Office ng Office of the President, si Yusek Ms. Pam Pedroche. Tatlo lang kami nagsimula. Plus Jerry, apat kami, nag-uusap-usap kami. But nagkakaroon na ng forma yung ito. Nung nagkakaroon na ng forma, kinakailangan ko na. Kasi nga, limited budget yung aming production. So, sa dulo na namin, naghanap ng isang maniniwala din doon sa integridad at validity ng storya. Nandiyan din doon sa Libuya. Pinausap, hindi ko siya kilala. In fact, he belongs to the other side of the political fence. Ginawa ito, sagad pinaus. Ang kumausap dito, si Miss Wee. At nag-meet lang kami nito sa places. Hindi ko siya kilala. At nag-brief ako, magaling nito, sikat ito. Kanyang photographer ito, ang kinukuhaan lang ito ay mga sikat. Ano ito, bakit naniharap mo sa akin? Ay, tanggihan ako niyan. Because we need somebody na talaga naman na worthy to be included in the book. So, sige ka, parapin natin. So, hinarap ko siya one morning. Wala, instantly nag-tweet kami. At ang sinabi lang niya bago ko magtiwala, I am in. Count me in. Pero, kailangan mong ilabas yung libro mo. Kailangan mong ipahagi ang story. Because Filipinos have the right to know. Ladies and gentlemen, June De Leon. Of course, kailangan din namin magaling mag-take out. Si Jerry magaling sumulat, pero hindi mo asahan yan sa layouting. Magkakabalik-baliktad yung mga picture. So, again, through Winnie and June De Leon, dinala nila si Mr. Manny Roma. Ito yung kasama ko sa loob ng isang taon to the point na nag-meeting na kami. Every day, they made a lot of sacrifices giving me enormous amount of their time because they believe in what I have to say. They believe in this story, and they believe it's worth telling. So, I know, mas gusto rin ninyo mapunta na tayo sa ating next part of the program, which is the Q&A or Open Forum. So, maraming salamat. Alam ko rin na ayaw niya magpamangkin, but I have to recognize, ito talagang paisog ito, ang ating kaibigan na nasa likod. Si Kate Chofilo. General Kate Chofilo, formerly of the ISAP. Thank you for coming, General Kate. At nandito rin, formerly of the ISAP. Also, I'd like to acknowledge him, General Gubana. Sir, thank you for coming. Ito, kasama ko rin matagal na panahon na. Nagkaroon hakbang ng iso last Sunday sa Batasang Pambansa. Ito ang pinakamahulay at pinakamatagal na nagsilbing barangay captain doon. Hanggang ngayon ay City Councilor ng Quezon City. Di matarik dito at masuspend dito. Si Consihal Rani, Tudumika, Paisok dito. At kayong lahat, mga Ignatic lovers. And again, to my family, my lovely wife, Bea, yung hindi nyo ho nakikita yan, ayaw talaga na magpakita. Kaya yung mga nakilala siya kanina, say, ang ganda-ganda naman ang asawa mo. Kaya ito sinabi ko, sa tingin ninyo, bakit ko pinakasalan yan? And of course, to my children, I love them so dearly. And I think, lahat ng ama, gagawin yung aking ginawa kung makipagtanggol ang iyong pamilya. Sinabi ko naman noon pa ako kaya ko, huwag nyo lang idadamay yung mga bata at yung aking pamilya. And I hold, this book, I owe them. Because when I was in Malacanang, immediately, sabi ko, 6 years lang ito, that was my thing. Ang pinaka-reward ko na lang dito, after 6 years, I'm done. Nagsilbi na ako bilang executive secretary, I'm done. Ang gusto ko na lang mangyari, dumating yung panahon. At malapit na yan, panahon na ng mga bata, panahon na ng mga anak. When they apply for work, or when they are engaged in their profession, people will ask them, looking for work, looking for employment. Sino ba ang ama mo? Nakita ng aking pangalan. At sa, ito ba yung dating executive secretary? Ano yung na-applyan mo? Ganito lang ang aking na-applyan. Makipatawag yung kanilang HR head. Ano ang highest available position dyan? Ibigay mo sa batang ito because your father served well and I assume you are like you. Yun lang ang akin. Yung legacy mo. Aagawin pa. Sisirain pa. Yung papay. Again, I was talking to MJ kanina. Ako mahirap yung disiplina ng pagsalita. Mahirap. I have endured all of those negative commentaries, nagpipista sila. At alam ko naman, ang akala nila wala na yan. Kita mo hindi sumasagot kasi totoo. It takes a lot of discipline to practice that kind of restraint I did, but because for a higher cause. Yung chismis at paninira, kilala niyo kung sino kayo. Malinaw sa akin, ililibro ko yung sagot ko at hindi ko papatulan ang chismis nito. I will debunk all your lies, not through encounter, God, or interview. Not yet until I finish with my book. Yung lamang, maraming salamat at sana ay pagkuhan ninyo ang aking book.
Thank you. Thank you, Attorney Vic. Thank you, Attorney Vic, for sharing with us today about the purpose of the book and also telling the story, telling your story finally. It's been a much awaited time for you to speak. And when you get the book, aside from the tears that were shed today, you will also have a rare view of Attorney Rodriguez smiling in some of the photos in the book. So yes, there are precious photos included in the book from his childhood with his family, and yun nga, smiling photos of Attorney Rodriguez. So thank you, Attorney, for sharing those pictures with us. Now, for the next part of the program, I'd like to ask Attorney Vic to come back here on stage, and also Mr. Jerry Lirio to sit down here in front. We will welcome questions from the floor for a Q&A about the book. Pakigamit na lang po yung mga mikropono. May mikropono po tayo dyan sa baba. Pakisabi na rin po ang inyong pangalan bago niyo sabihin ang inyong tanong. Thank you. Jerry. Okay, he's just signing a book. Please prepare your questions.
Jericho, questions.
Okay, Vic is here already, so we'll open the floor for questions. Like I said earlier, there's a mic in the middle. And bago po kayo magtanong, please state your name and then state your question. For Mr. Jerry, you're our author and Attorney Vic. Okay. Questions? Ayan.
Excuse me. Hi, Attorney Vic. Hi, Sir Jerry. First of all, congratulations po for the book launching and more power to both of you. Simple lang naman po yung questions ko. By the way, Antoinette Perez de Tagle from Saksi Ngayon. Ang question ko lang po, what can the readers learn from your book po sa Kingmaker, the hard copy?
Hello. How's this?
What can the readers
Learn from your book.
dami? I think in the book, it was clearly laid out there that from the beginning, even during the campaign, I was already, during the campaign, I've laid down and practiced good governance in the management of the campaign. And early on in the administration of the current administration, I was laying down the groundwork for good governance, simply because that's what people were expecting when they voted the man into office to become our 17th president. Yun ang inaasahan ng tao at ayokong biguin yun. Within my limited powers and capability as the executive secretary. Malinaw doon sa libro. What do the people can derive from reading the book? I think if they read the book, all its pages, they will have a better understanding of how much money they need to spend to demonize me. I guess they will realize how much ruthless people can get all in the name of paid journalism or paid vlogging. And I think ang isang mapupulot din nila yan. Pasensya lang, everything is timing.
Thank you po.
Next question, please.
Hello, Attorney Vic Rodriguez and Mr. Jerry Lirio. Thank you so much first po for publishing this book. It was a roller coaster ride actually, reading the book, because realizing na you put so much effort for the sitting president. Lahat ng diskarte ginawa niyo po para mailagay siya dyan. So indeed, you are a kingmaker. But of course, Attorney Glenn Chong is having an allegation against the First Lady that although the First Lady thanked you for making President Marcos Jr. win the presidency, there is also an allegation, of course, that the First Lady actually talked to the Smartmatic people to make her husband win. Any takes on his statement, please?
Thank you, Princess Maui. Honored. Finally, we met.
The honor is
I
mine as well.
spoke to Attorney Glenn Chong about this.
Mhm.
At nagkakaintindihan naman kami ni Attorney Glenn Chong. I not want to impose my views and belief on anyone. I told Glenn Chong, as far as I'm concerned, because of the amount of effort and Herculean task and time that I've invested prior to the campaign, during the campaign, nanalo talaga si Pangulong Marcos, si BBM naman. Nanalo si BBM. And I have always been objective pag tinatanong ako sa mga bagay na hindi naman ako, marami kasi nagsasabi, pinoprotektahan pa rin yan si Bongbong. Hindi, magkaibigan pa rin yan. Hindi yun. Sasagot ako base sa aking nalalaman. Sasagot ako base sa aking pinapaniwalaan. I'm not protecting President Marcos. I know this for a fact. Nanalo naman talaga yung tao. Ang konteksto ng pagkakaunawa ko doon sa sinasabi ni Attorney Glenn Chong, because sila nag-uusap And Glenn understands the technicals ng automated election and automated counting. Ang konteksto nung kay Attorney Glenn Chong, hindi yan ang totoong bilang ni BBM. Hindi ka 31 million. It could be much, much lower than 31 million, but it's not 31 million. And understanding yung nuances, plausible naman yung kanyang sinasabi. So, hindi ko sinasabing mali siya. Pero ang sinasabi ko, nanalo talaga si Bongbong Marcos. And whether it is only by one vote, I will take it because a win is a win.
But of course, we have to question din, no? Kahit isang botong hindi nabilang, ay questionable na po yung ating 2022 elections. Thank you so much, Attorney.
Thank you for your question. Next, please. Next question. Please state your name.
Good morning, Attorney Vic, Sir Jerry.
Morning.
I'm Bing Habadan from Nation Week. Attorney Vic, meron po ba kayong pinagsisihan after na naipanalo nyo si Presidente Marcos?
Wala akong pinagsisiyan. All the time na magkasama kami, maayos kami ni Dan BBM na yung Pangulong Marcos. And again, I'm not protecting him. Kinikwento ko lang lagi pag natatanong ako, how was he to me? Maayos kami ni President Marcos. Hindi niya ako pinakitaan kahit na anong kagaspangan o disrespect. No? In fact, he values my timely, relevant, and sound advice and counsels. Maayos kami. Wala akong pinagsisihan. Nangyari na lang yung nangyari. Dahil, siyempre, pagka nanalo na marami nang marunong. But it was a good journey, especially when during the time, ang lagi kong paliwanag, nagsama kami ni BBM nung panahon na madilim, walang buwan, walang bituin, walang kuryente, malamig, wala kaming kumot, hanggang sa dahan-dahan, ay tatawid namin yung magdamag, at nung magbubukang liwayway na, at kami nakatindig pa rin, ayan na. Madami nang gustong sumama. So hindi ko pinagsisisihan yun. Masarap yung biyaheng yun. At I think, to be fair to him, dahil na-appreciate din niya. Alam naman niya na wala nang gusto magpa-picture sa kanya noon. Everybody regarded him as a political gunner. Wala na. Especially nung nag-decision din siya na hindi na kumandidato muna nung midterm election. Tamang decision din yun. Dahil ang tingin nila, wala na. Kakalimutan ka na after 6 years. But I have another take on that. Ako, naniniwala ako, don't run ang midterm. Sabihin ng tao, ginamit mo lang itong issue ng election protest para pag-usapan ka. But remember, ang sinasabi natin, the moment you sign the election protest, you took that to me as a social pact with the Filipino people that you will find every single vote that were diverted and went missing. Kailangan nating tapusin ang election protest na ito regardless of the outcome, regardless of the court's finding.
Sir, kung meron kang pinagsisihan, ano ito?
Wala.
Okay.
Wala akong makita dapat kong pagsisihan. Yung tinunuhan ko siya, if that's what you're trying to elicit from me, no. I've helped him because I believe he won noong 2016. I've helped him because I am a firm believer that he was cheated. Nagkataon lang na ang personalidad ay Bongbong Marcos. But kung nag-iba yun at ganoon din na nagkausap kami at hiningi ang tulong ko, tutulong din ako. Dahil yun ang tama at yun ang paninindigan at ang aking prinsipyo na hindi mo dapat salaulain ang ating election process.
Last question. Sir, anong plano niyo sa 2025?
Wala pa. Ang librong ito ay stand-alone. Nasa Malacanang pa ako. Nung kung ano-ano na ang pangawalang hiyaba na ikinakalat na laban sa akin na si Ginoong Chet Pastrana daw una ay bayaw ko. Nandito yung bayaw ko present. Yung totoo kong bayaw, hindi itong bayaw-bayawan na si Chet Pastrana. Nung hindi nila mapagtugma, si Chet daw ay bilas ko na. Kaya kung ano ba talaga si Chet, bayaw ba kita o bilas? At yung asawa ko daw at asawa ni Ginoong Pastrana ay magkapatid. Truth of the matter, na-meet ko lang ang very lovely wife ni Ginoong Chet Pastrana noong January of 2024. Noon lang kami nagkakilala ni Erican. Si Chef, nagkaharap kami noong simula lang, bago magsimula ang kampanya. I think, Chef, that was October or November. Nung siya ay nagpunta sa HQ, volunteering to help. So wala kaming relasyon ni Chef. Now, going back to the question, wala pa akong, if you're trying to lead into the midterm election, wala akong plano pa, wala pa akong desisyon. I've been hearing the people asking me, but I am just preoccupied with this book because this book, again, I owe it to the Filipino people to tell the truth, straighten out the many lies, and I owe it to my children. That's why I have to bring out this book.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. We have the next question, please.
Congratulations, Attorney Vic
Thank
and
you.
Sir Jerry, for the book. I would just like to ask, a lot of people believe that BBM will not win without VP Inday Sara. As a political observer and a political content creator, I would say that during the campaign, your team really managed the public engagement of BBM very, very well. And I would just like to ask, had VP Inday Sara is not the the vice president, the a tandem of BBM, what would be the impact to your team and how you manage the public engagement, or you regard yourself as kingmaker in the 2022 election. So what do you think will be the impact on your planning or your strategy on how to present BBM to the public if that tandem did not happen?
First, I do not relish the tag of kingmaker. And the kingmaker is not the mere title that I have allocated on me. May reason why the title is kingmaker. And when you read the book, nandoon, realize that, you know. And the title, I leave it to the author why he thought of it on the first place. Now, as to the political component of it, I am a firm believer, and BBM, alam niya ito, mananalo si BBM with or without VP Inday as his VP. Mananalo si BBM. Wag lang lumaban si VP Inday, ha? Mag-iiba ng malaki ang pagbabago ng landscape noon. Pero kung kahit hindi tumakbong VP, si VP Inday noon at manatili sa Davao, at kahit walang VP, si BBM noong 2022 election, mananalo si Bongbong. Same set of candidates for president, ha? Mananalo si BBM. Mananalo si BBM.
So you
How would we have handled the media? The media has always been hostile kay BBM. Walang gustong mag-interview ng parehas kay Bongbong Marcos noon. Except, alam ko to, SMNI. Except, kayong nasa new media, vloggers. Kayo lang ang nagdala ng malaking bulto ng aming laban 2022. So, anong magbabago sa media? Wala. They will still be hostile kay Bongbong Marcos, lalo na kung naging presidente lang na kandidato, wala siyang VP. Si VP Inday, malaking kabawasan sa pagbalikat ng laban 2022. Yung joining of Marcos Duterte noong 2022 sealed their victory, both BBM and Inday.
Sir Jerry, would you like to say something? Do you think there would be a change on your strategy had there's no Inday Sara in the picture?
It's very difficult to. Hello. Well, do I understand the question right? Would the title of the book be Kingmaker if Inday Sara also run for the top post?
Or if she's not part of the tandem, or she's not in the picture, you think
I was not part of the Team Unity campaign. I cannot say except the views of a newsman, of somebody looking in, an outsider looking in. The question about the title, I have been a newsman for some time. When you, after reading the story, long and short story, you put a title, I don't find anything. I could not think of anything more appropriate than the Kingmaker. On 23, it was a collective decision. Who else? And why not? During the campaign, we never saw BBM. He did not attend the debate, and if he did one thing, it was somebody else who provided the substance and the management of the campaign. Well, whether we like it or not, it was effective. He won. He won 31 billion votes. On the allegation about the cheating, that's why I was forced to put some little items about myself, about Dagdag Bawas and Melo Garcia, just to point out my exposure on election and election cheating. Maybe he won, maybe he got less or he got more. Meaning, I'm not Marcos. Maybe Lenny Robredo got more or got a few. The gap would have been narrowed. But I think, as without in the absence of any convincing pieces of evidence, Marcos won. He is proclaimed, and as of this moment, there are questions about transmissions, and no one among the losers have come as they have not come forward to file a formal protest to contest. Okay. It was unbelievable. For me, it was unbelievable for another Marcos presidency. After the EDSA revolution, after all the stories we wrote, in fact, we keep on saying in the inquiry, if another Marcos would win the election, then we failed as journalists. But Marcos won. Those people were not, or who did not believe that Marcos could win, belong to only probably how many percent? There was a survey that the old Marcos should be laid to rest at the Libingan ng mga bayani. There were a number of surveys. It was a wake-up call. And in fact, it should have been a wake-up call against the burial of Marcos in the Libingan ng mga bayani. But that's the way it is. That is the reality. United States, it's divided between Trump and Joe Biden. We are divided, Duterte and BBM, or Marcos. We were divided. Our politics have long been, we are divided by, it was unbelievable that another Marcos would win. Just imagine how much time, how much effort, the strategy, this guy put. And I couldn't believe it myself. In fact, if you read the intro I wrote, I couldn't even believe that he was behind the campaign, and he was telling us that BBM was cheated in the 2016 election. I think we have answered these questions well enough in the book. And believe me, I came from Mr. Admis, I came from Inquirer. And though I could not even call myself a yellow, I'm just a journalist. But as far as pieces of stories, Marcos won so far. I have not seen any evidence to the contrary. And I could appreciate, never mind if it was Marcos, it was Lenny. Imagine the hardship of one man, or the leader of the pack, what he did for this campaign, for this victory. But then, of course, his term, BBM term, after his time, is another story to tell. I think I wrote in the book that because he lacked now good advisors, he's making mixed management statement per statement. Sometimes he's here, sometimes he's there. He could not answer simple questions. He's flip-flopping on many issues. And whether we like it or not, the report is persistent. Who's really in charge? Who is in charge? Who are the people in charge? Who are the people advising the president or running the president? Well, never mind. That's going further. The question is about the title and about the other one is the title. I will please read the book and you will realize that, especially you would see the photos. Tell me why Kingmaker, and let me quote one of it. Why not? That's probably the best answer. Why not? Thank you, thank you.
Next question, please.
Good afternoon po and congratulations Attorney Vic and Sir Jerry. My question is, Tagalogin ko na lang. Nakatatak na po sa utak na ating mga Pilipino ang imahe ng ama ni BBM. Isang diktador, magnanakaw, kriminal. Ang tanong ko po is, why BBM?
Why BBM? Ang aking paniniwala sa kanya, base sa mabahabang panahon, ang aming pagkakaibigan at pagsasama. And again, yung mga wala na nang masabi, kundi I'm defending still Bongbong, I am still friends with him, kahit na mga kaibigan pa kami, ano naman. But I'm just speaking the truth. Nung kami magkasama, maayos at malinaw yung aming mga pananaw kung saan namin, anong direksyon namin pipihitin ang republika, ang gobyerno, ang governance. Kung pagbibigyan ni Bathala ang kanyang aspirasyon na maging Pangulo ng Pilipinas. And in all fairness and objectivity, sang-ayon siya doon sa good governance. In fact, in one of our intimate conversation in this place, I hope he remembers this. Sabi ko sa kanya, Boss, pag nanalo ka at mananalo ka, gawa tayo ng mabuti. Gawin natin ang tama. Ang sagot niya, Vic, sino ba namang ama ang gusto pang ipadanas sa kanyang mga anak, yung pinagdaanan ko? Aba, hindi ba't lalong titibay ang iyong conviction na nasamahan mo yung tamang tao na siya dapat maging Pangulo? And I replied, Ama ho, ako, alam ho ninyo, pareho lang tayo. 3 anak mo, 3 rin ang anak ko. Kaya lang yung sa'yo, matitibay na. Ang lalaki na niyan eh. Graduate na or graduate na yata yung dalawa, isa graduate. Yung sa akin ho, very tender pa, ang babata pa dito. And I really intend to leave them a legacy of a good name. Yung naikwento ko kanina, tatay mo pala si Vic Rodriguez, nagsilbi ng maganda yan. Sige, yan ba bisita mo? Hindi lang pinto ang pagbubuksan. Buksan mo yung gate. Welcome na welcome yung taong yan. Dahil maayos ang pamilya. Yun ang aming usapan. And then, hindi ko rin naman siya nakikitaan ng yung nangyayari dito. Malinaw yung aming direksyon gustong tahakin. Kung sakasakaling pala rin nagswertehin siya na mabigyan ng pagkakataon ulit. At this time, bilang Pangulo.
Thank you po. And follow-up question naman po kay Sir Jerry as the author of the book. Meron po ba kayong plano na i-translate to sa Tagalog version?
Marami pong plano, kasama po yan sa plano. Hindi lang po sa Tagalog, pati po sa Cebuano at may kung mabibigyan po ng pagkakataon at saka mabibigyan po ng budget, kasama po yan sa plano.
Thank you for raising that, Pebos, because I've been getting messages na sana raw may Tagalog version. Nasa plano talaga yun, but hindi madali. Yung writing of the book itself, kasi maraming dates, maraming factual narration, it will take a while bago mo maisalin yan sa Tagalog. At pag hindi mo kasi pwedeng i-AI yung translation, mag-iiba yung diwa, yung konteksto nung salaysay, nung libro. So, painstakingly, dadaanan mo uli yun para maging Tagalog. And it's also my wish one day na may reduce din ito sa different dialects so that yung mga kababayan din natin ay makakuha ng kanilang kopya at mabasa rin.
Doon po sa makakuha ng kopya, paano po sila makakakuha ng kopya? Dahil ang dami pong nagtatanong sa mga post kung saan po makakabili.
Yung may naka-up na yung website ng libro, nandun din yun. Kaya lang, inuna lang muna natin yung launch. As you can see, my team, 5 lang ho kami. At of course, pagdating naman doon sa after this launch, Jude De Leon is not part of the calls and sales na niyan. Ganun din si Manny. So I will be left with only Miss Winnie and Miss Pam. But magano po, pinoprocess naman lang. After this launch, we will attend to all the queries, whether through Viber or through the website.
Salamat po ng marami.
Thank you.
Congratulations
Thank you.
po.
Good morning.
Morning, Ato.
With all due respect sa kay Mr. Lirio, hindi naman kasi nasabi ni Vic na may libro. Kung ganito ang title, meron sana ako isasuggest na parang anecdote from paraphrase from a Turkish saying. When the clown enters the palace, he does not become king. Malacanang becomes a circus. Vic, marami akong gusto tanungin mula nung eleksyon pa tayo. In my mathematics, nanalo si Bongbong Marcos, 31 million, bawasin mo yung 8 million ni Glenn Chong, pareho na silang 23 million ni Lenny. So sa libro ko, bibigyan ko si Bongbong Marcos ng panalo ng 263,000 votes. The same number of votes na dinaya niya kay Marcos bilang vice-presidente. At any rate, I have 2 questions. You may or may not answer it in this book. You may answer it in the next book. Bongbong Marcos said all the right things. Perhaps extend ko na until February 2023. Less than a month, he came from Beijing with a promise to the Filipino people of 23 billion in assistance package from China. On February 3, 2023, nagbago lahat when Lloyd Austin visited the Philippines and 4 additional EDCA bases were announced. The first question is, ano ang secret deal ni Bongbong Marcos kay Joe Biden? Pangalawang question ko, parang na blindside tayo that the king will become the queen maker. $23,263,000 Filipinos elected Bongbong Marcos only one voted for the Queen. And now she's, in my perception, running the country. Ang tanong, totoo ba o hindi totoo na nagdodroga ang presidente? Salamat po.
Dapat hindi niyo pinahawak ng microphone siya to. As to his first question, we both know itong issue nung kamong timeline of February 23. This was in pursuance of the pivot to Asia policy of the US government, the State Department, and their war machines there. Alam naman natin yun na painstakingly, tayo naman sa Hapag na Maisog, we're trying to distill and simplify the issues para lalong maintindihan ng higit na nakararami nating kababayan dahil hindi ho biro itong napipintong gera sa pagitan natin at ng China. And we are not warmongering. In fact, ang warmongering are coming from, the warmongers are coming from the government. We are all advocating for peace. We are pushing for a diplomatic solution in this brewing tension between the Philippines and China on the issue of prevailing in the South China Sea. Kaya yung pivot to Asia yan, kung anong deal niya roon at bakit nagkaroon ng 4 na EDCA sites, I think na-overpower lang ang ngayong Pangulong Marcos nung mga advisors na partial talaga sa West at sinunod yung narrative ng Amerikano na makipagtigma tayo sa China. Again, I have nothing against our oldest treaty ally, the Americans. America is beautiful, America is prosperous, America is progressive. And they've helped us immensely in the past, and they fought with us, our soldiers, shoulder to shoulder. Americans and Filipino blood were spilled during World War II. Pero hindi tayo dapat pumayag kung itutulak mo ang Pilipinas sa digmaan laban sa China. Kawawa tayo. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, any missiles fired by China will take at least an hour to reach USA, maybe 2. Should it reach the soil of the USA. They have all the integrated aerial defense, yung interceptors nila, nakapresto yan, hindi aabot doon. Pero tayo, in a matter of seconds, dadapo dito ang missile ng China. Not because China wants to destroy our country, but rather because we are following the narrative, the wrong narrative, fed by ang masakit, yung ating oldest treaty ally. Kaya nga babalik tayo doon sa usapin na protect, uphold, defend, respect, and observe the Constitution. And it's written in our Constitution. Nakalagay doon sa Declaration of State Principles and Policies na tayo dapat may independent foreign policy, taking into consideration national interests. National interest of the Republic of the Philippines, not the national interest of the United States of America. Yung pangalawang tanong, again, to be very, very objective and truthful because that's me. This is me. I'm not protecting anybody. Yung issue ng droga, tatandaan ninyo, ako rin ang nagtanggol dyan noong, I think that was before the campaign, Pam?
Yes.
That issue came out before the campaign. I'm the one who presented yung kanyang resulta sa St. Luke's. Kaya nga hanggang ngayon, hindi ko pinibitawan yung aking panawagan na ang solusyon lang dyan para mawala yung agang-agang. Undergo an independent, open, competent, and credible hair follicle test. Because ako rin ang nakaharap doon eh. Ako yung nagdala nung resultang yun na ngayon ay binabanatan na hindi raw totoo. And because it's me, as a matter of principle, I want to be validated na tama yung resultang pinakita ko sa inyo noong taon, noong mga panahon na yun. Yun lang ang solusyon. But as to whether I have witnessed or I have seen, no, I have not.
Attorney, good morning. May question lang, just like all of the successful revolutionary inspired books from the past na ito ay nagbago sa ating history. Ang tanong lang po natin is, dito po ba sa libro na to is may enlighten pa po ang mas marami nating mga kababayang Pilipino to what is happening now in our government? At ano po ang kaabang-abang sa librong ito, Attorney? Thank you.
I think it will be self-serving for me to nitpick kung ano yung kaabang-abang. I just hope that all of you who have received or bought your copies as of today will find it a good and interesting read. And I hope you'll be able to get something from the book that would all the more fire up your love of country. At every, continuous learning process naman yan. As I've been saying, there is a constitutional way to effect a regime change without going outside the constitutional loop. And that is through our periodic election. If we can only put good and meaningful people in office via election, then slowly, we are effecting a regime change. How? Pagka hindi mo dominado at hindi mo kontrolado ang Kongreso, whether the Senate or the House or both, then the remedy, the recourse of ordinary people will be very much alive. And what is that? The process of impeachment. Right now, forget about that mechanism. We're like wishing for the moon to come out 12 noon. Hindi mangyayari yan.
Good morning. Good morning. I have two questions. Number one, when you were in the Marcos administration, were there any talks about renewing or expanding the Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement? And the second question is, last April, President Marcos Jr. said that he was, quote, horrified by the so-called gentleman's agreement between President Duterte and President Xi of China to have a peaceful resupply mission to Ayungin Shoal. Marcos Jr. said that he was horrified, that he's rescinding the agreement. But on October 2022, Daily Tribune reported the words of AFP Major Cheryl Tindog, that since the Marcos administration began on June 2022, the military conducted 4 successful resupply missions to Ayungin Shoal, bringing only humanitarian goods, food, water, medicine, and no construction materials. The question is this, Attorney Vic. Were you aware of this arrangement to only deliver humanitarian materials to Ayungin Shoal? And if so, how can Bongbong Marcos say that he is horrified of this agreement not to send construction materials to Ayungin Shoal if he himself, according to the words of AFP Major Cheryl Tindog, if he himself had 4 resupply missions to Ayungin Shoal successfully without delivering construction materials? Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. As to the EDCA, I was there for 79 days. And I think EDCA, if you're going to look at it objectively, meron din namang positive na that it brings to the country. As to the additional EDCA sites, walang napapag-usapan at least man doon ako. And it's very, very clear during the campaign, with these many pronouncements, that we will pursue a foreign policy that would push for the interests of the Filipino people, and it will be subservient to none. Yan ang independent foreign policy. Binabanggit niya yan ng kampanya, and for a while, yun ang ating tinatahak. As to the addition of EDCA sites, walang napapag-usapang ganon. And as to the legality, alam naman din natin, although hindi lahat ng Pilipino nakakaunawa, yung naging desisyon ng ating Korte Suprema pagdating sa issue ng EDCA, na pwede ba yan simpleng agreement lang, or it should be a treaty and should be ratified by the Philippine Senate. Dahil alam naman natin na ibang-iba yung naging basihan ng desisyon ng Korte Suprema pagdating sa usapin ng EDCA, ng validity ng EDCA. Ang naging desisyon primarily ng Supreme Court is mabuti ang EDCA, at kinakailangan natin yan para maprotektahan tayo laban sa China. Hindi naman yun ang issue doon eh. Ang issue is whether constitutional or unconstitutional ang EDCA. But obviously, nag-sidestep. But yan ang naging desisyon hanggat hindi napapalitan yan, de valid and constitutional yung EDCA. As to the gentleman's agreement, again, gentleman's agreement, usapang lalaki sa Tagalog yun. At maunawaan mo lang sa street lingo o street parlance yung usapang lalaki kapag ka ikaw ay nadaan na o dumaan na sa isang usapang lalaki. Pero pagka hindi ka nadadaan doon, talagang hindi mo alam ang diwa at ibig sabihin yan. Yung usapang lalaki o gentleman's agreement is not a sole enclave or dominion of President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. It has been there since the time of former President Joseph Estrada. And what is the gentleman's agreement existing? Ibinenta ba tayo sa China? No. Ang gentleman's agreement, go ahead with the rotation and resupply mission. Rotation, so pagkat kinakailangan mong palitan yung sundalo mo na naka-estasyon doon sa BRP Sierra Madre. Kundi mamamatay yun. Kailangan nun ng mental, physical, emotional wellness. Kailangan mong palitan yun. Yung mga sundalo nga nakasign sa iba't ibang probinsya, sa lupa, rinorotate mo eh. Doon pa kaya sa naka-estasyon sa BRP Sierra Madre na ang natatanaw mo lang ay dagat. Yun ang ibig sabihin ng gentleman's agreement na nagpatuloy nung panahon ni GMA, ni Pangulong Doria, na nagpatuloy nung panahon ni dating Presidente Noynoy Aquino, ni Pangulong Pierardi, at ngayon nangyayari sa panahon ni Pangulong Marcos. That's the gentleman's agreement. And that is essentially a way of not further escalating the tension there in the overlapping claims of multiple claimants in the South China Sea. Ngayon, pagdating naman dyan sa claim na yan, let's not forget, meron din tayong claim sa Sabah. And just recently, I think this was last week, ay merong submission ibinigay ang Malaysia sa United Nations not recognizing our claim dyan sa Sabah. Look, if we're trying to fuel the patriotism of the Filipino people, let's not forget our claim sa Sabah. Dapat pareho yung init ng damdamin natin sa dalawang usapin yan. And in Sabah, there are more or less 800,000 Filipinos documented and undocumented. Eh dito sa Spratlys, dito sa South China Sea, hindi nga natin may turo eksakto alin ba yung atin dyan. Atin ito, alin dyan ang atin, turo mo. Bato pinag-aawayan natin, hindi ko sinasabing umatras tayo and surrender what we claim to be part of our national territory, that is non-negotiable. I'm saying is, merong ka rin existing claim sa Sabah. Yung Sultanate of Sulu, na ngayon ay Republic of the Philippines na. Pinalis lang yan sa British North Borneo Corporation. Hindi na isinuli sa Pilipino, sa Pilipinas. Valid yung claim natin. So I'm saying is, huwag tayong mamili ng narrative ng ating banyagang alyado at dadalhin mo sa bingit ng digmaan ang Pilipinas. Hindi natin interest to. Ito nga naghahanap ng murang bigas ang inyong mamamayan. You cannot provide. And you want war? Are you serious?
Thank you.
Sir, good afternoon po. And first of all, congratulations po on the success of the book and kay Sir Jerry as well. Sir, I just have one question. Kasi previously, there were reports that First Lady Marcos met with the exec of Smartmatic. And recently, there were posts naman from former DICT Secretary Eliseo Rio about the alleged cheating during the May 2022 polls, citing that the May 2022 polls ay masasabi natin na statistically improbable because of the data na pinopost ni Sir Rio. I just want to know, sir, your reaction as former campaign manager of BBM.
Okay, I have always been truthful. Yung meeting na yan, naganap yan. Yung sinasabi ni Glenn Chong, Attorney Glenn Chong, naganap yan. And I am validating his statement, Attorney Glenn Chong. I should know because I'm the one handling the campaign. Naganap yan somewhere in along Osmeña Highway, if I'm not mistaken. Hindi ako nagpunta because I don't find a need to talk to anybody. Mananalo na ito. Mananalo na ito. And somebody arranged that meeting. Hindi ako nagpunta. Pero yung sinasabi, si Attorney Glenn yata nagpunta. But as to nangyari yan, nangyari talaga yan. Yung nangyaring meeting na yun, did it lead to any addition in the number of votes for Bongbong Marcos or reduction in the number of votes for any of his rivals? I wouldn't know. Wala akong personal knowledge. But as to the meeting being arranged at naganap, that is improper. That's why I was not there. That's why I did not go.
Okay, last two questions, please.
Good morning, sir. I'd just like to ask one simple question. If you would be asked by anybody from the administration, let alone the president himself, to return to his cabinet, would you consider po ba?
If I will be of use and service for the country, for the people, I might. But I'm not here to please or serve for a man. I can work with anyone, but I am not willing to work for somebody if it's not for the benefit of the Filipino people. And in addition, I was asked latter part of last year, and hindi ko papangalanan, mabuting kaibigan ko ito. He was tasked to relay the message to me. They can deny this, I don't care, but I trust the man, ito lalaki ito, that they tasked to relay the message to me. How does chairmanship of SBMA sound to you? Ako talaga, kung yan ay ibinibigay lang ng kusino, just to complete their narrative, dahil ang dami nilang binintang sa akin, wala silang ebidensya, wala akong kaso. So ipasok mo yan dyan, ganun ako mag-isip, ipasok mo yan dyan, after 1 week or 2 weeks, kasuhan mo agad, para lang makumpleto yung narrative, nasalbahi yan, ganito yan, so on so forth. Ang sabi ko, pwede. Provided, o-overhaul ko yung board. Totoo itong nangyari. Respectfully to this gentleman na Tanti mentioned, may isip itong mga. Payag ako kako. Basta't papalitan niyo yung board. Board is board ko. I'll bring in former Secretary of National Defense and former Chief of Staff of the AFP, Boy Faustino. I will bring in, as part of my board, the former Chief of Staff and Medal of Valor awardee, Bob Bacaro. I'll bring in former ISAF head and bemedaled military officer, Kit Chofilo, among my board. And I will make SBMA a showcase na kayang gawin sa Pilipinas simulan natin sa Pilipinas. Hindi na sila bumalik. Ayun nila yun.
Sir, one last. Would you have any idea po ngayon kamusta po si First Lady?
Ay, hindi ko na pinag-iisipan yun. Masyado ko maraming, alam ko rin na may hindi nila ako iisip. So, to each his own na kami. I hope they're well. To be fair, I hope they're well.
Thank you for your question. There's one question.
Congratulations,
Thank you, Mark.
Boss and Sir Jerry. Actually, Pam and I have two sets of questions, but I would like to throw my question to Sir Jerry. Sir Jerry, after Attorney Vic resigned from public office, a lot of people are avoiding him, and I'm just wondering why you still stood beside him.
Well, that's basic instinct for a newsman. I interview people, probably, I interview all kinds of people. I go to villages, I interview co-plotters, I interview murder suspect. This guy has that story to tell. There were so many things written, so many allegations not answered. And knowing that was out of character, he speaks his mind. And as a newsman, I've always believed that his account, it takes some kind of moral courage to speak versus a sitting administration, right? His account shall have value, and has value, if not in law, in history. This is history in the making, you know. And somebody asked some questions like, what do we expect from the book? We would learn some lessons how to handle a campaign, the making or the unmaking of a president, the unmaking of us as a people after EDSA revolution. Number two, the role of the first ladies. They are not elected. Hayat can consider first gentleman Arroyo a major problem. Do we, how do you pronounce it? Dewi Sukarno was a problem. And the first lady, Mrs. Marcos, was a problem after Dobby Films. And I mean, as a newsman, I think you should investigate further if there was another Dobby Films or someone. And I don't know. But his account, why would I consider talking to Vic Rodriguez after his my friendship with Vic? Well, he's a source, of course, a source of story. My friendship with Vic does not limit. It's not limited. If he has something, he's in power or he's not. In fact, he turned down all my requests for an interview. Oh my God, imagine. He did not grant me an interview when he was in Malacanang. But there was this on top of mind. This guy has a lot of things to say. And they are relevant because they are relevant not in law, in history. And true enough, he gave us some lessons, so many things. Probably we people, those who are against Marcos, they were so complacent. And we realized, well, in the beginning, wow, okay naman pala si BBM, hindi siya tough talking like the former president. Di ba? He was bright enough. Decente. But he was a Marcos. But then again, in fact, the lessons we learned from the book or from the experience of Attorney Rodriguez should allow us to reflect, because this is history. And I do not mind talking to Vic. He's not even a murderer. He's not even a co-plotter. He's a nice guy. He's a lawyer. He's a professional. Why would I not interview him? He has a good story to tell. In fact, read the book and find out that, in fact, the story is about governance.
The last question is for Attorney Vic Rodriguez. Attorney Vic, in the process of writing the book, what did you lose? What did you gain? And was it worth it?
Oh, it's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth practicing again. That for me, a very, very extreme and high sense of discipline to resist and practice self-restraint, because human instinct, when people are spreading lies about you, sasagot ka. At hindi naging madali magtimpi. But I have to do what I have to do again, because it is my duty in the country to tell the truth to the Filipino people, to straighten out the lies. At nagdala ako ng 3 tao sa mundong to. Yung aking mga anak. I will not let them suffer after me when my time has come. And when I am gone, I will not let them suffer ignominy dahil lang sa malisyosong paninira ng ilang tao.
Thank you, Jerry, for okay, entertaining all the questions. Thank you for all your questions. They're very insightful and very a deep dive into governance.